Hi there, in this video you're going to learn about rates. Our objective for today is to find unit rates. So to begin with, we're going to start off with what rates are. So a rate is a ratio that compares two quantities with different kinds of units. For example, your heart rate. You have 160 beats in 2 minutes. Notice that the units, beats, and minutes are different. You have beats and you have minutes. When a rate is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1 unit, it is called a unit rate. So if your heart beats 160 beats in 2 minutes, it actually beats 80 minutes in 1 minute, right? Because all you would do is divide by 2. Notice the denominator here is 1. A unit rate, which is what this is, just means per 1. So here are some common units that you are familiar with. You have number of miles per 1 hour, which is the same thing as saying miles per hour. You can see it like this. Most of the time you see it like this, mph, like on the road. And that's what you would call the average speed. You would also see number of miles per gallon, or over 1 gallon, miles per gallon. You would mostly see it like this on cars, mpg. And then it's just called the gas mileage. So when you're referring to the gas mileage in a car, this is what you would refer to, the miles per gallon. And then here's what you would see in like ShopRite, the number of dollars over 1 pound, which is the same thing as saying price per pound, dollars over pounds, or unit price. Notice per 1. When you find unit rate, you are trying to find the value per 1. So here's our first example. Adrian biked 24 miles in 4 hours. If she biked at a constant speed, how many miles did she ride in 1 hour? So if she goes 24 miles in 4 hours, our ratio looks like this, 24 miles per 4 hours. The goal is, though, to get it over 1, to get the fraction over 1, because we want to figure out how much did she ride in 1 hour. So if you know how much she rides in 4 hours, in order to figure out how much she rides in 1, you would just divide the top and the bottom by 4. And then you would get your answer to be 24 divided by 4 is 6. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you would get 6 miles per hour. Adrian biked 6 miles in 1 hour. So here are some more examples. You make $300 for 6 hours. So $300 per 6 hours. The goal is to get it over 1, though. So what would I divide 6 by to get 1? Well, you would divide by 6, right? 6 divided by 6 is 1. 300 divided by 6 is 50. So $50 per hour. So you would make $50 per hour. These are just two different ways of writing the same thing. Here we have 220 miles on 8 gallons. 220 miles over 8 gallons. So how would I get this to be 1 at the bottom here? Well, you would have to divide 8 divided by 8 to get 1, right? 8 divided by 8 gets you 1. 220 divided by 8 gets you 27.5 miles. So in other words, if your car can drive on 220 miles on 8 gallons of gas, then the mileage on it is 27.5 miles per gallon. Here is another example. Find the unit price if it costs $2 for 8 juice boxes. So if it costs $2 for 8 boxes, our ratio would look like this, $2 over 8. We're trying to figure out how much money it would cost for 1 box. So in order to get the denominator to be 1, you're going to divide 8 divided by 8 to get 1. And whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 2 divided by 8 gets you 0.25. So the unit price here for the juice is actually 25 cents per juice. And here is our third example. the prices of 3 different bags of dog food are given in the table. Which size bag has the lowest price per pound rounded to the nearest cent? So I'm going to look at each one of these separately. The first one is 40 pounds and it costs $49. So $49 per 40 pounds. How much is it per 1 pound? 40 divided by what will get me 1? Well, 40 divided by 40 gets me 1. So whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do the top. 49 divided by 40 gets me $1.23. So in other words, it costs $1.23 per pound for this first one. In the second example, we have $23.44 per 20 pounds. How am I going to go from 20 pounds to 1 pound? What am I going to divide by? Well, I'm going to divide by 20. So 20 divided by 20 gets me 1. 23.44 divided by 20 gets me $1.17. So far, this one, $1.17 per pound, is actually cheaper than this, $1.23 per pound. And here is the last one, $9.88 per 8 pounds. Well, divide the bottom by 8, you get 1. Divide the top by 8, you get $1.24. So this last dog food right here would cost $1.25 per pound, or sorry, $1.24 per pound. So which one of these three is the cheapest? This second one. So if you were at the store and you were buying dog food, this is the second one. This is the one that you would be buying right here, the 20 pounds for $23.44. And then our last example, we have Lexi painted 2 faces in 8 minutes at the crafts fair. At this rate, how many faces can she paint in 40 minutes? So if she paints 2 faces in 8 minutes, we need to figure out how much it would be in 1 minute. So why don't we first start with that, and then we'll worry about this 40 minutes. Okay, so first let's find the unit rate. 8 divided by what is going to get me 1? Well, 8 divided by 8 is going to get me 1. Whatever I do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 2 divided by 8 gets me 0.25. So in other words, in 1 minute, Lexi can paint a fourth of a face, 0.25 of a face. So we know she paints 0.25 faces in 1 minute. How many faces does she paint in 40 minutes? So if we know this, she paints 0.25 faces in 1 minute. How are we going to figure it out? How many faces she can paint in 40 minutes? Well, you would just multiply this, right? 0.25 times 40. And you would end up getting 10 faces. All right, so here are some concluding thoughts. A rate is just a ratio that compares 2 different units. Miles per hour, price per pound, those are some examples. A unit rate means per 1. So the goal is to convert whatever ratio you are given to a ratio over 1 to find the unit rate. All right, that's I hope you learned how to find rates, how to find unit rates. I hope that this was helpful.